You can
Pick
move
the
fast.
hardships here over the hardships in LA
Yeah.
any day.
Oh my gosh, yes. I never lived in LA, so I'm sorry for your experience, but
It's part of my journey.
yeah.
I don't know if I would have came back here if I was in there. So
So hey guys, we're here with Ariel, not Ariel.
Ariel. Yes.
Ariel Panowitz from the Luli Creative House. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I almost said us. Thanks for having us. Me and all my different personalities.
And we were just talking about how Luli got its name. And I was like, wait, let's run the show so that we can hear about it because it's cute.
Yes, Luli is named after my daughter, Penny Lou. Her nickname when she was a baby was Luli. And so it only felt right to name it after her. I actually had a different name for the business before she was born, before we had launched the business. And then after she was born, I switched it up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so for those who don't know, tell us what Luli Creative House is. I admittedly have not been there in person. I'm sorry.
JT.
I know. We met one time at the Ghost Donkey launch, right?
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago. And then I haven't been able to put the pieces together and get over there yet.
It's okay.
But
It's not too late.
I'll
Still time.
be there. For sure. Yeah. So tell us about it. What is it?
Luli is a rentable creative studio and event space. So people can rent the space and have any sort of production, any sort of content shoot there. So a photo shoot, a video shoot, or they could just come in with their phone and themselves and make some cute content. And then we also are a rentable event space. So people can rent the space for pretty much anything other than children's birthday parties. We love children. Children are allowed there. We just don't do any children-focused events. And then we also have our own programming for the community as well. So health and wellness, yoga, live music, workshops, sort of anything that we want and that the community wants to see.
Cool.
It's kind of a overhead,
cool.
high level of what Luli is.
And just like in this new like creative kind of, I feel like we're in like a new like creative world just in the past like 5 years where it's like content is king, attention is king, and like servicing this whole Omaha area just feels like something that's so needed. And I guess, yeah, like what's been kind of the reaction and the response? Have you been surprised of the way that some people like use the space? You're like, oh, I didn't even intend it like that. And now the space has this whole new meaning or personality. Like, how's it going?
Yeah, I think originally, so I sort of selfishly created the space to start. I lived away for a little while and, moved back about 18 years ago, which feels like a very wild number to say. I'm like, oh, I just moved back. And then I'm like, oh, wait, that was 20 years ago. And, I've traveled a lot and I always saw these sort of creative hubs, these creative spaces in other more established cities. And I always just really craved and desired a space like that in Omaha. So I'm also a photographer and a creative director. And I've had that business for about 18 years when I moved back here. And yeah, I just always really wanted a space like that for the community, for myself. And after years of hoping that somebody would open one, I thought, well, maybe I'll give it a try. And so I definitely feel like when we opened, in a couple weeks, it'll be 3 years ago. I know. I feel proud. We opened almost 3 years ago. I definitely think there was a lot of educating the community, educating clients, just educating the Omaha audience about what a space like this is, how it functions, how people can utilize it. Because I do think that there wasn't a space specifically like this for creatives, for content creators, to create. And so, I think that now that we're in year 3, it's interesting. People have learned a lot about the space and what a space like this, how it functions in a community like Omaha, but we still have people every day that are like, what is this? This is so cool. What is this? And so for me, it's fun to have that education piece with the community. I think being a creative for so many years, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, you just come and create here. But people are like, well, what do you mean? And so it's fun to kind of bridge that gap and introduce something, kind of newer to Omaha.
That's so cool. Like, I hear a lot of stories of people who kind of, maybe they're from Nebraska, went somewhere, like got inspired by something, kind of brought it back here. That's really cool that you've been able to kind of be that bridge. What was there one thing in particular that you saw in a different market that you're like, oh, that was it?
I think a lot of the spaces that I felt inspired by were more co-working forward, and then they had like a creator portion as part of their concept,
Cool.
but it was very co-working forward, which is great. But I think like as a photographer, I think navigating spaces that aren't specifically made for creators to come create in is a different kind of challenge. And so I think for me, although I was inspired by a lot of these creative co-working spaces, I knew that I wanted to make one that was specifically for creators and just for the community to gather in. I hosted events for a long time in the community before I had opened Luli, and I think I just found it challenging to work around public businesses hours, and so I also wanted a space that was private, that the community could specifically have their own events in to come together.
Cool. And like the people who are listening right now, I feel like they're making this idea in their head of like, what is Luli Creative Space? Well, it has a pretty name, but like they can't really see it. Maybe they're thinking of like a gray like co-working space or something. But from what I've seen, it is so cool and different. Can you just like give us a breakdown of like the colors and just everything that went into making it?
Yeah. Well, there's no gray. No knock on gray, but there's not 1 ounce of gray
The
inside of
millennial
Luli.
gray, the dreaded millennial gray.
No judgment on millennial gray. Yeah, so I think a lot of the spaces that existed and exist are blank spaces, which I think those definitely serve a purpose. And I think that minimal neutral spaces are beautiful, but I really wanted to bring something to the community that felt colorful and different. And so Luli is definitely colorful. There's lots of pops of color throughout it. I didn't want to I wanted it to feel inclusive for all types of different people. So we definitely have areas where you can have that neutral, more minimal feel. But I really feel like color has the power to just make people feel joy and happiness and comfortable. I think that oftentimes when you go into a more minimal space, it can feel overwhelming, having to, bring your vision to life with something that is such a blank space. And so, yeah, a big part of our goal with Luli is to just make people feel comfort and happy and at home. And so, yeah, we have a mix of vintage and modern furniture. And yeah, I think when I was designing it, I'm not an interior designer. And so I think I definitely was nervous that if I incorporated a lot of color, it would feel circusy. But somehow it all worked out.
No, it turned out great. It's like there's nothing else like it
Thank
in
you.
Omaha that I can think of that's just, yeah, like I just feel inspired just looking at pictures of it.
Thank
It's
you.
really cool. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I've kind of got this impression that over the next couple of years, like Omaha is becoming kind of a hub for like, I don't know, like creative kind of fugitives, like trying to get away from like the big city inflation and stuff. And like you're seeing like, even like down in like Los Angeles, like people are just like moving out. And this whole like decentralized media landscape that's happening, like you look at like Hurrdat One, like, and like all these new publications, these like social media publications that are popping up, like, I think creative people are going to come to Omaha. Like, do you see Luli kind of like growing, offering more in the future, or even just like, what do you think of the landscape of Omaha creatives?
Yeah. I love the Omaha creative community. I love the Omaha community in general. It's a huge reason why I decided to stay here. I went to college in Denver. I lived in LA for a little bit, and I was honestly miserable in LA. And I just had a moment on the freeway where I was just like, oh, I don't have to be here. And so I came back to Omaha not intending to stay, and I was just sort of slowly building my photography business while I was here, planning my next move, and I just really fell in love with the community here. I grew up here, and I left for a little while, and I do think that I maybe wouldn't appreciate the Omaha community if I, as much as I do now, if I wouldn't have left. But when I came back, I just really had like a new lens on the community, and yeah, my perspective just shifted, and I I just really fell in love with the community here. And I think over the last, 17, 18 years of building both my businesses here, that's just been so confirmed for me. I think the community here is really different, and not even people that are born and raised here, but just people that live here that decide to come here. I think that often when people hear, Omaha, Nebraska, they think cornfields, which, come on, y'all. We are a major metropolitan.
Thank you.
We have to have an international airport. And so I think that honestly kind of works in our favor. I think that Omaha is kind of this hidden Midwest gem, and I don't think it will be that way forever.
I know.
I've seen even in the last 10 years, I've seen so much growth in Omaha, which I think is great. But I think Omaha is really special because people here really want to see you succeed, whether you're in the creative community or just anything. People really do support local here, and people do want to help others achieve their dream. And so I think that's just a really special, unique thing in Omaha and with creatives and just community in general. So I think move to Omaha, y'all. Come visit Omaha.
Just try it out.
Just try it out.
Yes.
People are just like, what do you do in Omaha? And I'm like, we do lots of stuff. There's lots of special things.
We have everything.
We just lay in cornfields. That's all we do. That's all there is.
Good.
That's it. Don't know.
Corn, laying cornfields.
Yeah. But it always just lights me up when people do come to Omaha or come to Luli and they're like, wow, Omaha's awesome. And I'm like, so I think that more and more people are getting to know Omaha, but I think that the people here are really what make it special.
Yeah. I was at Fizzy's the other day, and the waiter's like, oh yeah, go sit by the window and squint your eyes and you'll feel like you're in LA.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like we have things that feel like,
Totally.
like an adventure, and like things that you can discover, and so many creative people doing cool things. So
Yeah. And things are just much more accessible here. After living in Denver and LA and traveling and spending time in bigger cities, I think that things are just more achievable and accessible at a faster rate here. Because we're not a super oversaturated market. And so I think that if you have a dream and a goal, then it feels just easier here. I mean, granted, there's lots of hardships still with starting your own business and all that jazz, but you can pick the hardships here over the hardships in LA.
Yeah.
Any day.
Oh my gosh, yes. I never lived in LA, so I'm sorry for your experience, but
It was part of my journey. I don't know if I would have came back here if I was in there.
So how do you approach creation? Like, okay, everyone knows if you're going to be a business owner, you have to be creative now. Like, how do you do it in your life? I mean, you're a creative person, obviously. Like, maybe you just have a gene. Do you think there's just a gene? Are you born with it, or can you learn it?
I think probably a combination of both. My mom is a very creative person, and so I definitely grew up doing lots of creative forward activities. And so I definitely think that has played a role. I also think that, I'm just very inspired by everything. Sometimes I'm like, turn it off. I need to just not for a second. But yeah, I find inspiration from everything. People, spaces, places, colors. And so for me, I think when you do it for a living, there's definitely a balance of, getting burnt out and trying to, tap into that creativity, in an effort to monetize it. And so I think that is definitely a huge challenge. And I think, in the world that we live in, when we're just constantly inundated with other people's ideas and creativity, you have to be more mindful in your practice of finding your own vision and your own voice. And so, yeah, I'm just lucky to be surrounded by so many things and people that inspire me. And so But it's definitely, yeah, it's a different type of challenge having to funnel that into something to help, my businesses make money. And so it's a challenge for sure.
Like, okay, so let's say you're a business owner in Omaha. Like, how would you use yourself and the Lulu Creative House to succeed and to be creative and to grow your business? Like, what have you seen people doing that's working?
Yeah, so I think a big part of our mission at Luli is to help people feel comfortable and confident to try new things. I think that it can feel really intimidating to have an idea and not know how to bring it to life. And so we really try to provide people with lots of different options and support systems in place when they rent Luli to help them bring their vision to life. We have tons of different furniture options and tons of different plain backdrops. And if you've never experienced, or if you don't have any experience with like professional lighting gear, we have that so you can play around with it. And we always try and have somebody on staff there so that they can help you. Coming into Luli, it's kind of the opposite of the minimal space where there is so much to do that it also can feel overwhelming. And so we really try and help guide people, like, I think again, just like talking to people in person. We just always try and have somebody there so that we can say, what are you trying to do? How can we help you do this? What do you think about this backdrop? Or, and so just, yeah, having those different types of support systems in place at the space, whether it's a person or a bunch of different options or whatever it might be. So we really want to help you bring your vision to life. And same with events. We're an event space too. And so whether it's an event, whether it's, a workshop, you just started a new business and you want to have a networking event or a baby shower to celebrate with your loved ones and you don't know where to start. And, we really try to help people bring their vision to life, whether it's an event or a production or whatever it might be.
Cool. Yeah. And I don't know if we said, where are you located too? Let's just say that so everyone can hear.
Yeah.
And know where it is.
We're in downtown Omaha. We're on 19th and Howard. We're in a really beautiful building. It's actually on the historic registry. It's called the Redfield Building. Cool. And there's a lot of really cool history. We're up on the 4th floor. So it does feel very lofty. Ooh. Like big. Ooh. People are always like, oh, feels like I'm in New York. I'm like, oh, whoa, okay. So yeah,
windows.
Yeah, and then there's a co-working space called Modus on the 2nd and 3rd floor.
Oh, you guys are above Modus.
Oh, Modus, okay. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really great people in the building and a great community there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's just say, for example, like a small e-commerce business in Omaha, they're like, I know I need to create content. I'm kind of nervous. I don't really do it. I've never really done it before. They come to you guys, they book a shoot session. How does that process look and feel? Like you said, you kind of like guide people, but like, will you even like vet their like creative ideas and be like, oh no, don't shoot a picture of your product like this, like shoot it like this? Or like how in depth do you get with clients when they come in?
We definitely try to follow other people's lead. So we will help as much as y'all want us to. So we are there for support. If somebody comes in and is like, I really want to do this, but I've never like set up a backdrop before, or what do you think about this? We try not to overstep, but we are there if somebody does want our input, and we give everybody a tour when we check them in about everything in the space. We tell people come 10 minutes early. We'll walk you through stuff before your client gets here. And then, we just let them know we're here if you need anything at all. Cool. And, we're lucky that, hopefully people feel really safe in the space to ask us those questions, because it can feel really overwhelming. I think as creatives, we feel like we should know everything. And I just hope that people always know that they can ask us anything, whether it's beforehand, whether it's on site. We're here to support. However you need.
But you should come in with some sort of creative concept, right?
Well, maybe like a rough idea of what you're doing. Most people do.
Yeah.
Most people have, a Pinterest board or, they have a rough idea. But like with our lighting gear, they're like, oh, I've never shot with this before. And I'm like, okay, let me set it up for you. Let me kind of show you a couple things, and then you play and come and grab us if you need anything. but we really want to be like a playground for creatives to come and test out new ideas and try new things in a safe feeling space.
Oh my gosh. What what hold on, I forgot my train of thought right here. One second.
I will say something while
Go
he's
ahead.
getting
Go
his
ahead.
train
Go
back on
ahead.
the tracks. So also part of our mission at Luli is to give back to the community. We're a very community focused space because we love the community so much, and ultimately we wouldn't exist without the community support. And so all of our programming that we have at Luli, so all of our stuff that we host for the community, whether it's, yoga or whatever it might be, um, we donate a portion of proceeds to a different local nonprofit each time. So every time that you are purchasing a ticket to come to an event at Luli, just know that not only are you supporting a small women-owned business, but you're also supporting a different nonprofit in our community as well.
Cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys are, I mean, it just seems like you're like a bright light to the community. Like I feel like
Thank
people
you.
have really kind of, you know, accepted you guys as like a really cool part of the creative community here. That's awesome.
Thanks. Hopefully.
Yeah. If you if you were to tell someone, for example, like what type of media assets are working right now, right? Like I feel like everyone's going after organic social media as the way to like grow their business. You know, there's other things you can do, but like where would you tell a new business to start? I know a lot of people listening are like, I'm brand new at like marketing and it's intimidating and content creation. It's a lot. You probably work with like a lot of people who are like these like really professional creatives, and I know there's like a big kind of disparity there between the two, but like, what would you do if you were getting started? Like, okay, come in, shoot 10 shots in this part of our studio, and you'll see a somewhat of an ROI.
People often ask me about advice I would give when it comes to social media. And honestly, what's worked well for us and what I believe will continue to be like, yes, there are always going to be trends. There are always going to be things that, come and go. But I think with the landscape we're living in, especially right now, I think just being authentic and being yourself, I think it's really easy to plan and overthink. And sometimes I think that can be paralyzing for small businesses and just for people in general. And I think that people just want to connect with a real person. I think that, especially in the landscape that we live in now, it's really easy to lose sight of the fact that there are real people running these small businesses that, make communities so rich. Not financially, of course, but rich in personality. And so I think that just being authentic and not
Cool.
overly thinking, people just want to see you and learn about you. And, I've never shied away from being a little bit weird. And so I think that's worked really well for my businesses. But I think really having tunnel vision with your vision and what's important to you and your mission is really important. I think it's really easy to, of course, take inspo from other creatives and other people, but I think it's really easy, in the world wide web that we live in to lose track of your mission. And so I think really when you're feeling overwhelmed about, well, mine doesn't look like this, and well, this person did this, I think really taking the time to stop and just truly having tunnel vision to remind yourself what's important to me, because ultimately other people can open a creative space. Other people can open a restaurant, something that is very similar to what you have, but nobody is you. And so just remembering that you are the unique thing that makes your business one of a kind. And so tapping into what is important to you will always set you apart.
Cool. Yeah. Oh man, I feel like for the past 20 years, like building brands, we kind of like hid behind these like glossy brands, you know, and it was like it's so unheard of to show your face and be authentic. It's definitely something I've had to like kind of learn as I
Yeah.
go, and just being comfortable with that. But
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it is hard putting yourself out there, but I do think that it's an incredible asset that you should lean on
And it's not going to hurt your brand
Yeah.
to show people like, oh, it like every asset has to be beautiful.
Polished and
it's
perfect.
like, no, like, I work with like an international like real estate developer, and they're like, they've forever, nothing would touch like anything client facing unless it was just totally buttoned up, and they've had to really kind of let that all down. It's been hard. I feel like it's hard for everybody. Like we're all like in the past 3 years, it feels like just getting put through this grinder of like, okay, everyone's a content creator. We live in an attention economy now.
Totally.
Like attention is the foundation of capital. Like you got to do this now.
Yeah.
And it's like, when did everyone learn how to, be on camera and like be natural? It's really hard.
I mean, I still struggle with it. I want everything. I am a perfectionist for sure.
Yeah.
And I really have had to, especially over the last year, just lean into being okay with things being less polished. Because ultimately too, I think we make ourselves sick wanting things to be so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we so easily forget that social media is just a blip. It's just a glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I actually, to help me with feeling more okay with being less polished, about a year ago, I started doing this practice with myself and my public facing things on the internet, where I would intentionally leave something in that I knew I would typically take out. And I would leave it in there and post it and see what happened. And of course, nothing happened. Nobody noticed it. And I was like, oh, see, it's fine. Yeah. The first time I did it was with my daughter, which actually, so it was a year ago this week. It was my daughter's 4-year-old pictures that I took. And there was a little black clip like hanging on the back. And typically I would, of course, Photoshop it out. But I was like, and see what happens. And guess what? Nobody noticed.
Oh my God.
And I survived. Somehow I survived. My businesses didn't come crashing down. And so I think finding whatever your practice is to help you feel more comfortable and confident being less polished, whatever that means for you, is important.
Yeah, like exposure therapy kind of.
Totally.
Just with imperfection. It's so
it is very hard. It's a practice.
That's a great like intentionality or an intentional thing that you did last year to try to like break that feeling, you know. That's like the way that I've always kind of thought of it and looked at it is like in the past it showed that like your business had a lot of resources if you made these like really polished assets. And now I feel like because information is free now because of AI, right? Like everyone has all of the information that you could ever have in the world at your fingertips. Like the only thing that matters now is speed. And so like when people see a creative asset that's like way overproduced, in their head, they see a picture of a guy getting out of a truck, pulling his camera out, setting it up. He's probably wearing boots and he's, taking his time. And then he's got, 4 days for the revisions. Okay. People want it now. Like they want to drink it from the hose. They want to know like, what
instant gratification.
Yeah. Tell me, like, they don't want to hear from a real estate agent about a house that's like 2 weeks old because the videographer had to go like get these drone shots all color corrected. Like they want to know like what house went on the market like 4 hours ago. And so that's why I kind of feel like this like authenticity thing like really works, because speed is the only thing that matters now in our world. I think.
And I think like leaning into that human element that only you individually possess is really important, because I do believe that your audience, I feel like the more authentic you are, your audience will always find you. I think in the beginning when you're starting a business, you want to be for everyone. Yep. And ultimately, unfortunately, that's not a great business model because nothing is for everyone. And that's okay. I think for a long time, I felt like I want everyone to be able to afford me, and I want everyone to like my style, and I want to not niche down. And I think that the more authentic you are to your vision, like I've said with your business, your audience will find you. Just trust that your audience will find you. I think, also living in the world of AI, I feel like understandably people are very overwhelmed and intimidated that they will be wedged out of their industry. And I think, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? And I know there is a lot of that happening now, but I feel like as a small business, there's always going to be an audience that wants to connect with you as a person. And I don't feel like, hopefully, that is ever going to go away because we're human beings and we want to have a human connection. And I think that will, hopefully always rise above, and your audience, the more authentic you are, will always find you.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's kind of like a market for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever flavor you have, like somebody's gonna come to it. And like, what you said, kind of like sparked the thought that a lot of people, they think that they're like kind of too late to learn now. You know?
Never.
Yeah, like even okay, let's say your business is like 4 years in, you have clients, like they're used to like your brand and your image and everything. The idea of like having to start learning how to do social media yourself and being vulnerable and stupid, like 4 years in after you're supposed to know what you're doing, it's just like it feels like some people think that they can't jump in yet. But I don't know, just like like what you said about like finding your tribe and like people are gonna, they're gonna gravitate to that. Like it's going to take you a year of being terrible at social media until you have anything that's worth viewing. But like we all have to do it together. We all have to jump in. And some people jumped in 2 years ago and some people jumped in 2 months ago. But like, I don't think there's any shame in being like, hey, guess what? I'm a business owner. You guys have trusted me for like 5 years or 10 years, 20 years. Now I'm learning this. So here I am,
Everyone literally has to start somewhere. Yeah. And I also think, know your limits. And if you are someone who gets incredibly overwhelmed by social media, like lean on people. I think oftentimes as business owners, we feel like we have to know everything and know how to do it all. But being a business owner is incredibly humbling. And so I think that lean on people for what you need help with. And, just going back to Omaha specifically, I think Omaha is really special in that way, is that you can, like when I was building Luli, I reached out, I just DM'd people on Instagram, everybody that inspired me in the community, and asked if I could take them to coffee and just asked them all of the things that I didn't know. And sure, you could chat GP?
Yeah.
You could chat. I'm in the know, clearly. You could chat GPT it, or you could just take someone that inspires you out to coffee. And I promise you'll get a lot more out of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah. That's, relying on other people and understanding that it is very difficult. And like I feel like when you see social media online, it looks so easy.
Yeah.
And
sure.
and there's so many layers to it. Like rely on professionals or other people in your team to kind of like help you get that foot in the door. But yeah, just know that it's not a waste of your time. It's a good investment.
Yeah, for sure. And it does take time. I think, we live in such an instant gratification world, and you could go viral and build it a little quicker, but ultimately, like, to be sustainable in social media, I think you just have to accept that, like, just like anything, plug away, keep doing it, and it'll do what it needs to do for your business.
Avoid the burnout, the like, I gotta go really fast and I gotta like refresh my feed every 10 seconds because
and
I might miss something.
Take breaks. Yes. I feel like, it's really easy to look at a calendar and this is what I need to do for my social and whatnot. But ultimately, I think that it's so easy to so quickly get burnt out. And so don't feel bad ever for taking a break. If you in your heart feel like you need a break from social media, take the break.
Yeah. And with anything. We work too hard.
Just touch some grass. We all need to, if you're watching this right now, go touch some grass. We all need to be touching grass more.
100%. So, okay. So what's the future? Give us like Ariel's like 5-year future of like Omaha, the creative industry, the attention economy. Like what's Luli going to be in 5 years?
We often get asked this question, and I think pre-2020 and even post-2020, but really pre-2020, I was very future goal oriented. And I think if I've learned anything over the last 5 years, it's that we ultimately only have control over this moment. And so, I have dreams for how I envision, Luli and my businesses changing, but really, I just love what we're doing so much right now. And if we could just continue to grow that, we definitely always want to reach more of the local audience here. And so I think that's kind of my big goal is to just reach more people and connect with more people in person through Luli. And yeah, I'm just grateful that we have a physical space that we can do that. And I think that that is the most important thing for me is to just be able to continue to connect with people in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you think that with AI, like the barrier of entry to like be a creative person will come down a little bit and like more people will have access to be able to flex their creative muscles?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope. Yes. And I truly believe so. I think that being a creative, I just don't think people can turn it off. I think if people really feel inspired to create, there's nothing that will stop them. I think there's naturally always barriers. Right now, I think, AI is definitely one of them, but there's always different barriers when being a creator and, just a human in general. But I think that if something is really important to you and you really feel called to create or do something, that you'll find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. One other question that I forgot to ask is I actually, for my account, the Corn Belt, like I travel all over Nebraska to all these small towns that really want to really kind of look to Omaha as a place that has a thriving creative community, has people like you who are like leading really cool communities. Like, how can smaller towns or just smaller communities kind of like replicate what Luli's doing? And do you think that there's a space for, the 50,000 person towns, 20,000, 5,000 person towns that have like a little creative hub like Luli?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think Corn Belt and Luli should go on the road and
Yes.
help people in these small towns.
That would be awesome.
You heard it here first.
Maybe like an RV with like some cool like stuff in it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that people want to create. I think creating is something that every type of person wants to do, whether it's creating through food or through photography or whatever it might be. And so I hope that more places feel inspired to open up spaces where people can come together and create or just be together. And so, yeah, it might not look exactly like Luli, but I think that if you have a vision for a space where you want people to come and gather and create, then you can do that. And, I think a healthy level of intimidation is a great drive. And I knew nothing about a physical space. Even while I was bringing Luli to life. And so I think, again, whether, you live in a tiny town or a bigger town, just lean on your community. And we have so much access to people in bigger, more established markets. And so I think, like, don't overlook, the simplicity of just reaching out to someone on the internet and asking them to set up a call or, asking them questions about how they brought their thing to life while you're building yours. Again, just connect with humans, human connection.
would you ever, because I know like a lot of people from smaller towns would listen to this, would you ever like contract with like a smaller town to come in and help them build a creative space? Have you ever thought about that? I'm just going off script right now, but it kind of sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, I am always down to have conversations with people.
Cool.
I was lucky and still am lucky to have a lot of really wonderful mentors. And even just like when I was building Luli, there was like a space in Chicago. There was a space in Denver that I was really inspired by. And I just emailed them and was like, can I talk to you? And I think just being honest, I think oftentimes we feel like we have to like hold our ideas really close to our hearts and ourselves. And I'm always down to have a conversation with people for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you obviously love Nebraska. So you'd be willing to help other Nebraskans.
Yeah, for sure. Always. Hit me up. Call me.
So cool.
Beat me.
Yes.
If you want to reach me.
I mean,
Is it Kim Possible?
I never watched that one. I don't know. Missed me on that one.
Someone will tell us. Oh, okay, we're getting the thumbs up.
Okay,
from the
Brock,
producer.
our producer, he said yes. And I mean, just speaking of how just helpful you've been, like sent you a DM, you're like, heck yes, podcast. Thank you so much for coming on and being flexible, and like so cool to get to meet you and be in the same community as you. So
Thank you.
Yes.
Same to you. Thank you. This was fun.
Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Hopefully people love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ariel.